right?
I always tell people the first time you ever showed me a pulse was probably about 10 years after I sat with you with patients. You showed me. I would want to know Vata Pitta Kapha, and he would say, "Why you want to fragment?"
Did I say like that?
You did.
That way I said?
No.
Just the way? Okay.
All my friends were learning that, and it's
Okay,
a very
so
good statement.
there are certain things, you have to learn about the body, because there are, I can demonstrate those things to you, but there is no time now. We have no time, no time. As if we possess time. Any time did we have possessed time? Like a dollar bill or something like that? No. I can say I don't have money, I don't say I can have time. Time. We don't possess it anyway. So, there are so many things, you press a certain point in the body, it reacts somewhere else, And the back, it goes to the feet. And if you touch a point in the feet, because the feet has everything in that. Feet has everything in that, it's the whole spectrum of human life. I mean life connected to, not the life in general, is connected to you. The condition called life, that is there. Every point, a different point to touch, it has a different effect. So many places. Yeah. You want to kick somebody or what?
No, I'm showing them. They know. They do.
Yeah, you know that. So there is a. So I cannot demonstrate now, at this session. If you come some other time, I can do that. And best thing is the Halloween day, that's it. You come with all the costumes and everything, we can press all the points.
Sean, some of them have bought the CD, and the CD that you had us do, and they, and I told them that when you had us do it, how the chants actually help the cells.
Oh yes, they all help, because they are the vibratory things,
They
They're vibratory things, and different chants have a different effect on a different part of the body, chants. And we have made a CD for the oncology patients, the cancer patients, and it really helped a lot of people. It really helped a lot of people,
Psychology patients too.
Yeah, and oh yes, psychology patients, and yeah. It's not just knowing psychology is important. It is knowing the ecology of psychology. There's something called ecology of psychology. She is a great psychologist. She is a great psychologist, and sometimes I ask her to therapeutically treat me. She refused. He said, "You don't fit into any psychological that's called psychological models. I don't fit into any psychological model, so I am beyond psychology."
I once told him he talks like a sociopath and he acts like a saint. That was just a certain reference to a certain thing.
And one thing about all the physical symptoms and everything has something to do. It's what you call the beyond the physical sphere. That's called preternatural, meanings to all those things. It's beyond the psychological, physiological, biological, and what are the other things? Ecological, and what else?
Maniacal.
No, that word, if you use that fits into megalomania. In that means one thinks oneself as something else than what person is. That is megalomania, you see. And that was one of the diseases Freud had. And so I never met him because he died before I wanted to see him. I don't know why I wanted to see him, but I, of course.
You didn't have a hysterical neurosis.
But Jung, I was supposed to see him in 1961. He was supposed to come to India, and he died before he reached India. So that's gone also. I couldn't see these people. That's because it's a very funny thing. I couldn't see any psychologist, except Patricia. I didn't see any psychologist.
As a patient. So me as a patient.
So now see, as I said, this stretches beyond the worldly factors. This healing or the symptoms have a root in somewhere which is not the world. It is beyond that, beyond nature. What you call nature, you have. It's beyond this nature. So human beings have a nature of their own. That's the inner nature, what you call. So that nature is not different from the outside nature, but it has got inner meaning. It is not, see, you expand externally, right? That is extrovert. You become extroverts and try to expand externally. And there is an inner expansion also. That inner expansion, you cannot see it, but you can only experience it, that inner expansion, what you call. And the dreams, the good dreams you have, not the hallucinations, that comes from that internal expansion. That comes from that internal. That's what a great scientist, David Bohm, called it, the implicate order. Implicate order. So we get caught up in the explicate order and say that's the only one we have got, nothing else. But there is something called implicate order and the supplicate order, and both orders are higher orders. They're higher. And if you once get caught up in that, you will not lose yourself, I tell you. Because people are very much afraid, I may become a lunatic. You'll not become a lunatic. But that's, if you get caught up in those two orders, supplicate and implicate orders, you have the total expansion. Total expansion. It's not the external expansion what you want to do. You think of having external expansion and all those things. You try for those things. Here there is no trying. Ultimately you become a totally expanded. So your consciousness, your and emotional touches, what you call. You have got emotional touches and emotional pinpoints and emotional knots. And when you get caught up in that, the emotional knots and everything, there is always a condition called melancholy. That's the Greek word, of course. Came from the Greek word. It's a psychological word. You become prone to melancholy, right? Then you put your head down and sit there, Instead of seeing anybody, you sit there. You are melancholy. You don't want to see anything. You have no interest in anything. See? So, you don't think you have become an introvert. No. You become melancholy. And that's the worst disease, I tell you. It will bring, and I think Sandy has learned so many things, not only the physical symptoms and all those things, but the psychological symptoms and, internal symptoms, what you have. And those symptoms cannot be treated by these medications, herbs and all those things. See? How can you treat it? Only understanding yourself. Understanding yourself, you have to apply, that's what I call applied potential. That potential you have. You apply that potential to yourself. You are applicable to applied potential. So that you have to apply to yourself. And those potentials are very great, I tell you. And they always say you can conquer the three worlds provided you have that potential understood. You recognize first, you understand that, totally understand that potential. And when you understand that, you shine. You don't have a sad face sitting like this. You don't have. You have always there's a smile. There's a smile. And when you come into contact with the people, that heals them, you must know that. That heals them. And it's not you're not using any medicine, you are the yardstick of the healing. Your potential is the main, categorically, you can heal a person just coming into contact. So that you have to develop, I tell you. That's what the healer's main thing. What I find is, you go into a lot of, extraneous activities and all those things, the healing process. But that's the one thing, when you just come near the person, And another thing is Deepa, Dupa, and all those things we call. It's also started with DDD. All you see, it's da 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 da, DDD, dim, dikada, dim. Yeah, come on. And so, what happens is, there is when you enter your therapy room. What you must have a therapy room in the house or office or whatever it is, where you get the patients. First, you have to entertain them. You see. Not to drag them inside and lie down on the cot. No, that's not. No, that's not it, you know. So, you have to light a candle. You know, that's deeper. That's light. You know, that's the mellow light. You have to light a candle. And dhupa is incense. If somebody is allergic to incense, you know, don't incense them by lighting it. You know? So that's okay. But have a light. Nobody is, nobody is against light, giving a candle, you know. Candle. Then you have an attitude. A healer's attitude is one of the attitude fully composed. You are fully composed. You know, you are not fragmented. You are fully composed with everything. That's called the healer's attitude. Fully composed. All the parts of your body, mind, and soul are in full gear. That is alignment. So when you have that, your patient will be aligned. Will be aligned. You know. So that's this is the important thing I am telling you. How you can heal a patient. You can have all the paraphernalia you can have. You know, you can have a plant, a flower, a tree, all those things in the office. You can have a tree even. That is different. But this is the attitude. Okay, the mental attitude of a healer is the holiest of all the holy speeches and words and methods and everything. It's a very holy thing. So you become a holy person. It's not somebody who is sitting in the Himalayas or in Timbuktu. It's not a holy person. You become a holy person. You have a right to be holy. That's your birthright to be holy and whole. And healing is nothing but making a person whole. Unless you become whole, you cannot make a person whole. You know, right? So you must be. That you have to develop first in yourself, and you become healers. Healers of great magnitude, I tell you. And always the divine, or the God, whatever you call, will bless you with all the beauty and wonders of the world that you are. You are the wonders of the world, beauty of the world. And paragon of all virtues. That's Shakespeare's word, of course.